Ronnie and I have both been members since we walked in the door together the first week of ninth grade. And even though Dougie had resisted joining Nerd Club, a bare month of listening to us recite inside jokes from our Hellfire sessions had him almost begging for a seat at the table. Stan, a junior, had come along the following year, though his attendance is hit or miss. His family's got it in their brains that D&D comes straight from Satan himself, and that even touching dice with more than 6 sides would be enough to send their precious baby boy straight into the flames of eternal damnation. Stan tries his best to get around this by spinning stories about weekly algebra tutoring, and by giving Ronnie all his Hellfire shit to keep at her place so his snooping mom can't find it. But even with all this cloak and dagger maneuvering, Stan winds up missing 1 game out of 3. Sophomore Jeff has been part of Hellfire for 2 years now, but it feels like longer. He'd been playing with his older brothers before he started at Hawkins High, and he knows almost as much about the game as I do. He definitely knows more about playing bass than I do, which is why he'd been a welcome addition to Corroded Coffin, rounding out the sound in a way that Ronnie, Dougie, and I hadn't been able to on our own. And then there's little freshman Gareth, who's glaring at the laminated chart of U.S. presidents on the wall like he wants to start using it for target practice. He better not. We can't afford to land on the shit list of another teacher. Not when so many of them already refuse to share space with that satanic cult. As it stands, every Monday, I start the process of wheeling and dealing with the small handful of teachers with the smallest slice of sympathy to our cause, bargaining for the right to roll a couple of dice in their classrooms once the final bell rings at 2:50 on Wednesday afternoon. And every Monday, as I go through the motions of asking about Mrs. Deb's upcoming retirement and cleaning chalkboards in Mr. Vick's lab, I ask myself the same question. Why am I doing this? I've never been able to answer it. But I'm still here, week after week. Isn't that the definition of insanity? Maybe you should be happy, freshman, I say. You learned a valuable lesson today. I can feel Ronnie watching me. She's twirling a pencil between her fingers, so fast that it blurs. I don't look over at her. Gareth snorts. How valuable can it be if I won't be around to use it? Some of Gareth's angst slams into focus, but it's not something I can deal with here, in front of all these watching eyes. Well, boys and girls, I say, straightening up, I think that just about wraps up our session here today. There's a chorus of groans, mostly from Stan and Dougie. We'll regroup next week as our surviving adventurers journey deep into the labyrinth of Raleigh Shaw's the Mad. Gareth is packed up almost as soon as I finish speaking, throwing all his shit into his backpack as fast as he can. He shoves his chair back with an ungodly squeal of aluminum legs on linoleum and stomps to the door, throwing it open with a crash that rattles the wall. Dougie sucks his teeth, watching the door swing shut behind Gareth. This kid sucks. Shut up, Dougie, Ronnie comments calmly. She raises an eyebrow at me in silent question, but I'm already on my feet and sidling around the table. Same time, I lecture the room over my shoulder as I stalk out the door. If you're late, you get the Ilian treatment. Comprende? A chorus of sures and whatevers sweeps me into the hallway. Gareth is already a sea of lockers away and moving fast. Hey, freshman! For a second, I think the kid isn't going to stop, but then he does, turning to face me with an eye roll and a sigh. What? You got somewhere to be? My mom's picking me up in like -2 minutes, so yeah. He glowers up at me, adjusting his back.